Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you for joining. So we continue with our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Like yesterday, we'll try to again invoke some prayers and blessings because life is really null and void actually without any prayers and blessings. है ना? Someone lives lives, है ना? Is all is sutra, yeah, is all covered in life through what desires and expectations. And for someone, it is all how can I shape my life so that I am throughout encircled by these prayers and blessings. कैसे अपने जीवन को ढालें कि सारा कुछ ही हमारा ओत प्रोत हम इससे ही प्रार्थना और भगवत कृपा भक्तों की कृपा आशीर्वाद से ही बंधे हुए रहें उसी हिसाब से सारे अब ये ब्लेसिंग्स भी ना कृपा या ये भगवान की करुणामयी की कृपा को आकृष्ट करने के लिए है वास्तव में इसी को ही लक्ष्य करना चाहिए हमें ओके वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योग शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराण श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीर धारी कृपां बुद्धि तमहं प्रपद्ये मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा फिर से आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद बहुत बहुत स्वागत भागवत गीता अध्ययन सत्र में एंड like we do it daily uh, uh, we'll try to follow both Hindi and English language and we'll try to do it in both languages because many of our audience would prefer Hindi and many of our other audience would prefer English as well in this group and because also I'm a proper product of Kali Yuga na so I cannot do anything just once say just English or just Hindi there has to be a bit of a mismatch. So we do a mishmash sort of thing, but the beauty is Bhagavad Gita as it is. Uh, and again, the beauty is there is no need to apply my own this conditioned mind or senses or any conditioned logic. Bhagavad Gita as it is, given as it is, presented, written as it is, and we try to honor it. We try to imbibe it, take it as it is. Just we need to read the translation and purport and go to bed thinking of it. And when we wake up, Krishna will give us all the true realizations. Only that is needed. Sincerely, on our part, sincerely reading Bhagavad Gita, shloka, translations, purports, and just try to sincerely pray that the message sinks in. Honestly, we'll find the study of like many other academic study, we may find it very uh, draining draining takes a lot of our energy academic studies and all but bhagavad gita it won't take energy as such rather it will give us make us even more energized okay so let me share screen so we continue bhagavad gita chapter 1 we read until text 20 I think we read translations as well 21 22 but we'll start from 21 22 for today huh? And continue from there again we previously done actually first chapter second chapter and this in for now up until second chapter we may not be reading each and every purport but when it comes to third chapter जब हम तीसरे अध्याय में हैं तो we'll read each and every translation and purports okay so text 21 22 अर्जुन उवाच सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये रथं स्थापयाम्यच्युत यावदेतान्निरीक्षोऽहं योद्धुकामानवस्थितान् केर्मया सह योद्धव्यम् अस्मिन् रणसमुद्यमे. Uh, Evie, kindly read translation and purport as well.
Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Um, Although Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy, he was engaged in the service of his friend. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus he is addressed herein as infallible. As charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna, and since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, Hrishikesa, the Lord of total senses. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord, and similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees, assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is master, everyone is under his orders, and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances.
Evie, read that sentence again. He takes great pleasure.
He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees, assuming the advantageous position of ordering him about than he does in being the giver of orders.
Thank you. Abhishek, you read the second para, please.
Yeah. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjun had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who was the leading person present on the battlefield where, although there was no question of a peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war.
Hmm. Okay, Abhishek, read translation as well.
Arjun said, "O infallible, infallible one, please draw my chariot between two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms."
Thank you. Huh? So I find this a fascinating verse. Like now we are opening into the Bhagavad Gita. And again, as we discussed yesterday, I mean, if someone knows about the context of this war, good, very nice, very nice. But even if someone doesn't know, not a problem, not the slightest problem. It's not like one has to know the context of this war. Huh? And here now we are opening into Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna is saying, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye, Ratham Stapayame Achyuta, Yavadetan Nirikshaham Yodu Kaman Avastitan, Kermaya Sa Yodhavyam Asmin Rana Samudyame. So Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Achyuta. Hmm? The Vedic literatures tell us what? The Vedic literatures give us this information that God has no names. In the sense, God has no material names. I mean, for Krishna, nothing is material. For Krishna, there's nothing is Maya. It's just for us, everything is matter for now, at least for now. भगवान के लिए थोड़ी ना कुछ माया है या अपना पराया. हाँ? भगवान के लिए ऐसा थोड़ी ना कि ये पास्ट पूर्व की बात है, ये अभी की बात है या ये आगे की. नो. For us, there is separation of time. We live in past, present, future, and all. For us, this is okay. Someone my own, and this is not my related and all. But such things do not exist for Krishna because he is not in Maya at all. Because he is naturally the supreme personality of Godhead, na? The original source of all emanation, all creations. So God has no material names. Huh? But having said that, he has got millions and trillions of names, many names, and all his names are associated based on divine qualities. Like in here, Krishna Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Achyuta, Achyuta, one who doesn't fall down from his position, one who is infallible, one who doesn't commit any mistake, one who is completely error free. Like the other names of Krishna, we understand Gopal, one who gives protection to the cows, looks after the cows, one who tends to the cows, Govind, one who gives pleasure to the senses, Rishikesha, master of the senses, Yashodanandan, the son of beloved son of Mother Yashoda. So Krishna has innumerable names, and of all the names, Krishna is the name which stands out. What Vedic literatures tell us, Krishna, the one all attractive personality, all attractive. In this world, also we all are get enamored, or we all are looking after attraction, or all our attention is towards attraction only. That is what gets our attention. If something is not attractive, it wouldn't get our attention, or it wouldn't hold our attention. And this is why Krishna is the supreme most attractive personality. Krishna. And Krishna, the personality himself and his name are non-different. भगवान और भगवान का नाम अभिन्न है, कोई भेद नहीं है उसमें. है? कोई भेद नहीं है. तो इसलिए भगवान का नाम जप करना, भगवान को बुलाना, वो भगवान ही है. कोई भेद नहीं है भगवान का नाम और भगवान में. वैसे ही भगवान की वाणी और भगवान में भी कोई भेद नहीं है. हाँ? Krishna's name and Krishna the personality non-different. Krishna's words, his speech and himself non-different. This is all everything on the absolute platform, and in an absolute platform, there's complete oneness. So here Arjuna is calling Krishna Achyuta. Significant, like we understand Krishna and Arjuna, they share a very unique loving relationship and personality, है ना. तो अर्जुना जहाँ पे भी भगवान को जिस जिस नाम से बुलाते हैं उसका एक उद्देश्य है, और भगवान भी अर्जुन को जिस जिस नाम से संबोधित करते हैं उसका भी एक उद्देश्य है. There is a significance wherever Krishna calls Arjuna by whatever names and Arjuna calls Krishna by what names say. So Arjuna is calling Krishna as Achyuta, one who is infallible, because he knows, Arjuna knows Krishna's position. And such is God. God is someone who never commits mistake. है ना? Like uh, for us, what do we say? I mean, if a human being, someone in a human form of life, but he repeatedly commits mistake, uh, repeatedly commits mistake. कोई मनुष्य होते हुए भी बार बार भूल ही करता है, गलती करता है, तो उसको बोलते हैं ना कि भाई तुम मनुष्य हो या पशु हो, क्या कर रहे हो, कैसे रह रहे हो, कैसे जी रहे हो. So in human form of life, one makes repeatedly mistakes. पशुवत, man animal, na, man animal, committing mistakes. Mistakes also not this mistake that, oh, I don't know what is 2 plus 5, 7, or I don't know what is 5 minus 3, 7, है ना? That sort of thing. No, these are all just some material calculations and all. Committing mistakes as in one is not clear or aware to be more clear or aware of the purpose of this human form of life, what this life is meant for. Uh, how come there's so many varieties? Who am I? Who is God if at all there is God? Why is there so much of suffering and all? So we commit mistakes in understanding these higher aspects of life. Mm. And someone repeatedly committing mistake, as in someone is not at all interested or bothered or concerned in delving into these higher questions in life. Uh, so one who repeatedly commits mistake is as good as animal, sort of, है ना? Living in animalistic tendencies, animalistic thought process, animalistic lifestyle. शरीर मिला है मनुष्य का लेकिन जीवन पशुवत, है? जहाँ तहाँ मुंह मार दिया, जो तो मिला खा लो, रहन सहन का कोई ठीक ठिकाना नहीं है, जीवन का भी क्या उद्देश्य, क्या लक्ष्य इत्यादि कुछ नहीं। क्या ना कोई उमंग है ना कोई तरंग है, जिंदगी है क्या एक कटी पतंग है भाई, जा रही है जहाँ जा रही है, चली जाएगी, पहुंच जाएगी। But Vedic lifestyle, Vedic Sabhyata doesn't teach us like this. It teaches us how to honor this human form of life, how to be more responsible, how to own responsibility, take responsibility. And one who understands that, okay, I've been committing mistakes or I commit mistakes, and who is now on the path to rectify, to correct oneself, to grow, है ना? That is a human being. Yes. Who is human being, Manushya na? Manushya means one who is human being means one who is modifying himself. Na? One who is modifying himself from animalistic instinctive tendencies and coming to a more civilized responsive call. Manushya, human being is one who is modifying his life towards a higher goal, higher purpose. One who knows, acknowledges, yes, I am committing mistake, and then does something about it. That is human. One who doesn't do anything about it and is even unaware that I'm committing mistakes is as good as an animal same. Huh? And then sadhaka, sadhaka, spiritual practitioner who is furthermore taking shelter of Bhagavad Gita of scriptures. वास्तव में साधक तो वही है ना जो साधना क्रम में है, जो साधना क्रम में बंधा हुआ है, who is in his daily disciplined spiritual practice, spiritual lifestyle, one who is inspiring, imbibing the teachings of scriptures and also of saintly personalities. Sadhaka is one who is aspiring to become a saint. And again, ये साधक वही है जो साधुता को पाने के लिए ललायत है या प्रयास कर रहा है, अगर ललायत भी नहीं हुआ है अभी तक तो, लेकिन कम से कम प्रयास कर रहा है। और ये साधुता पाने का ठेका कोई मंदिर में ही साधु ने नहीं उठा रखा, वो ही नहीं है। ये तो भाई व्यक्तिगत है ना, स्त्री हो या पुरुष हो। सो sadhaka is one who is making endeavors to become saintly, and becoming saintly is every human being's prerogative. It should be actually. It is not restricted to someone like monks and nuns living in some monastery. No, it is not just for them. So sadhaka is one who is training himself to become saintly, taking shelter of scriptures and of saintly personalities. Yeah. Sadhaka is still committing mistake but rectifying himself. And pure devotee is one who is now free from mistake, who now doesn't commit any mistake, who has come to a platform or a stage where he is completely focused, his goal, purpose, and everything is clear and in line with Krishna, who has now freed himself by the blessings of again pure devotees only, by the blessings of acharyas of Gurudev. And Krishna naturally is. Krishna is naturally. See, whatever Krishna does, he does it naturally. And it's not like a position of God that he has applied or he got into it or he became God. No, he's naturally achyuta, naturally. And likewise, a pure devotee who is now also coming to his natural or has come about to his natural state, and sadhaka is aspiring for that sort of state. है ना? So Arjuna is responding Krishna. Arjuna is calling out to Krishna as अच्युत, जो अपने पोजीशन से कभी कैसे च्युत नहीं होते. और तभी देखे ना, अर्जुना ने भगवान से कहा कि आप मेरे सारथी बनिए, है ना, पार्थ सारथी. पार्थ के अर्जुन का एक नाम पार्थ है, हम समझते हैं, और उनके रथ को चला रहे हैं भगवान, है ना. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि भाई रथ चला दिया तो कोई नीचे आ गए अपनी स्थिति से, पोजीशन से. नो, नॉट एट ऑल. It's not like if Krishna is driving the chariot of Arjuna, then he has come down anywhere in his status quo, in his position. No, he's still the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But look, beautiful purport. This is what shows out the meaning of relationships. है ना? Any relationship, love and service are the core factors for any relationship to thrive. To thrive. And Krishna is completely surrendered to the will of his devotees, to the will of his pure devotee. And a pure devotee like Arjuna is completely surrendered to serving Krishna. That is the thing. So Krishna kindly agreed of being the uh, chariot driver. Again, we see in Mahabharata as well. Krishna, when Rajasuya Yag was happening, Yudhishthir Maharaj was performing this sacrifice, and Krishna, he took this responsibility of washing everyone's feet. Those who were coming, washing their feet and hands and giving them towel and welcoming them. So Krishna does not live in material calculations. Now he has asked me to be a driver and all. Such is the mood of his love. Mm. When we practice, when we come into Krishna consciousness, a sadhaka will realize so much of embarrassment. Why? Because he will see, oh, what am I doing? If at all I'm creating a mess, no other good. Why? Because I'm still not giving up my mind and my material intelligence to Krishna or to spiritual master, to Vaishnavas. And a sadhaka, he should realize embarrassment. Why? Because he should realize and understand and experience that everything Krishna is arranging. Everything Krishna is arranging. है ना? We ask, generally speaking, if I ask one thing, say from Krishna, again, not something material, but what the arrangement and all. When we chant the holy names of Krishna, the more joy we want, even more than that, whatever we aspire, even more than that, Krishna gives us joy. So sadhaka always feels, okay, I'm always in depth of Krishna's mercy. This should be the genuine feeling actually. And then he wants to serve Krishna more and more. He wants to serve devotee more and more. So in this instance, see, भगवान पार्थ सारथी बने ना, चैरियट ड्राइवर बने अर्जुन के, रथ हाँके अर्जुन के. So see how he took on this responsibility and what did he do in order to drive someone's chariot, or in today's world say drive someone's car, car driver say. What, when the boss leaves the house, say the boss is supposed to leave the house at half 8 to go to work, say at 8 to go to work. hmm? So the driver has to be in the house before 8, surely, isn't it? And the driver has to make sure that the car is clean. The car is clean and all the mechanics is fine. Everything, diesel or petrol, whatever is there, everything is working fine. And he makes sure that the car is out so that whenever my master he comes out, can get into the car and I can drive him wherever he wants to go. Uh, so likewise, Krishna took this responsibility. कि ऐसा नहीं है भगवान बोले कि चलो 9 बजे युद्ध शुरू हो रहा है और दोनों कंधे पे कंधे डाले कृष्णा और अर्जुन और निकले कैंप से क्या अंगूर खाते हुए, चलो अब रथ लेके आओ भाई कोई, और फिर भगवान युद्ध में चलो ठीक है यहाँ से मैं ले चलता हूँ. नो, ऐसा नहीं है ना. भगवान अर्जुन के रथ का पूरा ध्यान रख रहे थे. हाँ? He was looking after Arjuna's chariot, so much so how to clean it, how to maintain it. Because surely, na, in battlefield, there will be paints of blood in the chariot. Who will look? Driver will look into it. Hmm? A driver will look, there would be assistance, but driver, it is the core responsibility of the chariot driver to look into the chariot. Then, are the wheels fine or not? Are the horses fine or not? Do they need water to feed the horses? ऐसा थोड़ी ना चलो भाई शाम के काम हो गए 5 बज गए खत्म काम और चले हम अपने खेमे में। हाँ, रथ गया अपने आप पार्क हो जाएगा और कोई ना कोई आ जाएगा इसको कराने। नो, तो भगवान देखते थे ना। अर्जुन chariot, Krishna used to look after it, feeding the horses, looking after the horses, and also looking after cleaning the horses, say, है ना? Cleaning the chariot, all such things. And that is never like he never came down as such from his position. Mm. Putana had come to greet Krishna in slightly different way, to greet Krishna, and not in a very traditional sense. She had come to greet Krishna in Vrindavan when Krishna was a baby, 6 day old. Uh, and what did Krishna do? Suck the very life air of Putna. Why? Because she had come to uh, give poison to Krishna. So Krishna, he sucked the very life air of Putna, uh, and gave him the position of mother. Uh, Aho Bakiyam Stan Kalakutam. We see in Bhagavatam this shloka, very nice shloka comes in third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 3:23. So this is Krishna, na, 6 day old. It's not like he has to do any yoga meditation to become God, uh, anything like that. No. So अच्युता, भगवान को अर्जुन यहाँ पे अच्युता कह के संबोधित कर रहे हैं, बुला रहे हैं। और अच्युत मतलब जो अपने स्थिति से, पोजीशन से, तो भगवान कृष्णा हैज ओनली वन ड्यूटी, कृष्णा इज ओनली वन थिंग टू डू, टू प्रोटेक्ट द, क्या बोलेंगे अंग्रेजी में इसको, अपने भक्तों के मान की रक्षा करना। यही भगवान का है, कैसे मेरे भक्त मंगल में रहे, मेरे भक्तों पे हानि नहीं आए, ना, मेरे भक्तों का यश वर्धन हो, उनकी गुणगान, उनकी कीर्ति, उनका सुख आनंद वर्धन हो। So how to maintain, protect the honor of my devotees? Krishna has got only this business and he's constantly engaged in this. So this is why he was looking happily after the chariot of Arjuna as well. Uh, and nowhere was there like, okay, he had become or taken a low profile, say, again from material sense, as if a low profile job he has taken. No. Krishna doesn't live in any such duality. And those who are transcendentalist practitioners or surrendered souls, they are also free from such dualities. So here Arjuna is saying, hmm, this is a bit on Krishna and then infallible one. Huh? Uh, and just say as a side note or something interesting, Bhagavad Gita is very fascinating. It has got humor also in it, thrill, excitement, adventure, everything. Knowledge, wisdom, surely knowledge, wisdom, love, surrender, complete package. So see how uh, Arjuna is calling Krishna here as Achyuta, and towards the end, when the dialogue happens between Krishna and Arjuna, Krishna asks Arjuna that, okay, have you now listened attentively? Are all your doubts being dispelled? Uh, are you out of ignorance? Do you still carry any doubts, or would you want me to, any other question, or would you want me to go through everything again, or anything more? Huh? And Arjuna in response says, so Krishna says, now are you ready to fight? Do as you feel like. Uh, and Krishna asks, checks with him that, have you got the message clear or should I repeat? So Arjuna in response very boldly says, what? Nashtamoho smriti labdva tvat prasadad maya chutam sthitosmi gata sande karisye vachanam tava. Very beautiful. Again, when we come to 18th chapter by Krishna's blessings, we shall come to 18th chapter as well, and we'll try to understand there furthermore. But in this verse as well, 1873, Arjuna is referring to Krishna again. Achyuta is calling out Krishna as Achyuta. Na? Nashta moho smriti labdva. All my illusion is dispelled. Nashta moho. Na? Smriti labdva. I have attained, I have regained my memory, my identity, my position. Tvat prasadad maya achyuta. By your mercy, Prasad, by your mercy, Achyuta, by your mercy. Sthito asmi gata sande. Now I am very firmly situated, established, and now I do not carry any doubts. uh, and without any doubts, karisye vachanam tava. Now I will do as you like me to do, as you want me to do. And Arjuna doesn't say that now I will fight. No, कुछ भी करूंगा भगवान, जो आप कराओ. अब नचाना है आप, मैं नाचने को तैयार हूँ. खिलाना है, खिलाने को तैयार हूँ. ये युद्ध करना है, युद्ध करने को तैयार हूँ. आप जो चाहोगे कृष्ण, आपकी प्रसन्नता के लिए, आपकी इच्छा के अंतर्गत मैं कुछ भी करने को तैयार हूँ. तो ऐसा ही हम भी ना भागवत गीता पढ़ के, हमें भी इसी अर्जुनत्व को पाना ना, शिष्यत्व को पाना है. तो हमारे भाव भी भगवान की कृपा से, भक्तों की कृपा से, ठाकुर जी से यही प्रार्थना है कि हमारे भाव भी ऐसे निकले कि भागवत गीता के अध्ययन से, है ना, हम भी दिन प्रतिदिन थोड़ी भक्ति में, भाव में अग्रसर हो, आगे बढ़ें. थोड़े लेश मात्र छींटे हम पे भी पड़े, और हमारा भी ऐसा ही हम शिष्यत्व ग्रहण कर सकें, शिष्यत्व ग्रहण कर सकें, और वैष्णव के हम चरण रेणु को पकड़ सकें, उस कृपा को आकर्षित कर सकें. So Arjuna says to Achyuta as well, to Krishna towards the end. Now, see here, please draw my chariot, between the two armies, so that I may see those present here who desire. So it is natural call, na? Natural call. Arjuna is calling Krishna to put his chariot between these two armies. So he wants to have a good assessment. Surely, na? Before we go into something, we would like to, one should assess the situation, हाँ, assess the opponent. तो अर्जुन यहाँ पे भाप रहे हैं, नाप रहे हैं कि भाई कौन कौन आए हैं, किसके साथ मेरे को युद्ध करना है. Is trying to gauge the situation nicely, which every one of us do when we go for anything, especially like generally speaking, again, appearing for an examination or some interview and all. We try to assess and all. Or sports personalities, yeah, sports personalities, when they are going for a away game, away match or a home match, whatever, they try to assess the conditions, the situations, the opponent's team strategy and all. So in that sense, now let us go furthermore reading translations and see how we can get some more inspiration and clarity coming from this shloka. So now, okay, Harsha, read text 23, just translation.
Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra.
So Arjuna is continuing. He's saying, he wants to see who have come here to fight, and wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. That's very interesting. Evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra, which as we go further down in our study, we'll see. Uh, Personally speaking, I find it quite interesting, and it should come out quite interesting. So he wants to see who all have come here, wishing to please, to fight, desiring to please the evil-minded son of the blind king Dhritarashtra. Okay, let's read up until say 20. Any question or comment in the meantime?
No, sir.
Okay, so Preeti, would you be able to read? प्रीति पढ़िए 24 नंबर. Okay, Diksha, you read.
Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties.
Pratik, read. पढ़ पाओगे प्रतीक 25 नंबर? Okay, I'll read.
In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, "Just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here."
Hmm. Very nice. Okay. अनुराधा माता जी पढ़ पाओगे क्या?
There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers in law and well wishers.
एंड ये पढ़िए 27 नंबर अभिषेक.
When the son of Kunti, Arjun, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus.
All right. So let's read 28 with translation and purport now. Arjuna Vacha दृष्ट्वेमं स्वजनं कृष्ण युयुत्सं समुपस्थितं सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि मुखं च परिशुष्यति. We read translation and purport.
Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Any man who has given genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in the demigods, whereas the non-devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualifications by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And uh, while he was thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjuna, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna. Although it is not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but to his soft-heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. It is said, therefore,
यस्यास्ति भक्तिर्भगवती यकिंचन सर्वैर्गुणैस्तत्र समासते सुरा हरो अभक्तस्य कुतो महद्गुणा मनोरथेनास्ति धावतो बहि.
one who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up."
Let's read actually a couple more just translations so that if I find it when we read these translations 28, 29, 30, then the previous translations they really stand out even more, furthermore, and speak out. So for now we'll just read translations and then we'll read purport as well. Okay, Ellen, kindly read 29.
My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow, Gandhira, is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning.
30 as well.
I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. Oh, Krishna, killer of the hasty demon.
Thank you. So, see, now Arjuna is saying what? Please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Let me see those who have wishing to come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. So Arjuna sounds very uh, passionate, very energetic. Yes, after 13 years of exile, so much so going on in Arjuna's lives, his brothers, how they had to suffer since childhood, and undeserving. His wife, pure, chaste, loyal wife, how she had to suffer humiliation, embarrassment, undeserving. Their mother, pious lady, how she had to suffer again embarrassment, humiliation, struggle, hardships, again undeserving. So, Arjuna, now the time has come. Let me see who all have come here wanting a duel, wanting a fight. है कि नहीं? ये सारे भाव कि भाई अब बनवास उसके बाद अज्ञातवास है ना, और अब देखें भाई कौन आया, अब मौका है युधिष्ठिर महाराज के मान को हमें बचाने का, रखने का, लाने का, है ना? कैसे हम भाइयों को पे इतना अत्याचार हुआ और जिसके हम हकदार नहीं थे, द्रौपदी पे, कुंती महारानी पे इत्यादि. सो अर्जुना इज लाइक नेचुरली एज वेल वांटिंग टू सी कौन कौन आए वहां पे युद्ध करने के लिए. एंड देन से Arjuna is saying, who all have come and let me see the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra like that. Huh? And Krishna drew up the chariot, fine chariot in the midst of both the parties. Huh? And Krishna says, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Now this word behold is amazing, Okay, Evie or Ellen, say what does behold mean?
Sort of to look on or consider.
Yes. And then would you like to say or add anything? Or anyone else?
Oh, behold, like observe. I don't know.
Yeah. Look, see, consider, observe, check. No, just behold, just watch, see this. So, just by Krishna's putting the chariot in between and saying to Arjuna, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here, Krishna's Yoga Maya's internal potency understood, okay, now is the time to cover up Arjuna's constitutional position or his original consciousness, which is a pure devotee of Krishna, Arjuna. So, Yogmaya then, as Krishna says, just behold Partha, all the Kurus assembled here, Yogmaya put Arjuna under illusion. Yogmaya covered him in illusion, covered his consciousness and wrapped it with some layers of ignorance. Hmm? And let Arjuna forget of Krishna. For a pure devotee can never forget Krishna. Huh? A pure devotee can never forget Krishna. And sadhakas like us, we hardly remember Krishna. Or speaking for myself, there's hardly any remembrance of Krishna. But in here, because Krishna has a purpose, a plan for Arjuna and for every one of us via Arjuna, for every one of us. So Krishna's internal potency, अंतरंगा शक्ति, भगवान की शक्ति, भगवान की निज शक्ति, खुद की करुणामय शक्ति ने अर्जुन को यहाँ पे मोह में डाल दिया। हम तो संसार में ऐसे ही मोहित हुए पड़े हैं, और किसके पीछे मोहित हुए पड़े वो भी सोचो थोड़ा। संसारी चमक धमक के पीछे ही मोहित हुए पड़े हैं। कितने, जो कि ऐसे ही आगुंतुक है ना, टेम्पररी, आने जाने वाला ही है, क्षणिक ही है, लेकिन हम कितने उस क्षणिक में से मोहित हुए पड़े हैं, गजब से। तो हमारा तो केस ही थोड़ा अलग है, अर्जुन का ऐसा केस नहीं है। अर्जुन तो भगवान के शुद्ध भक्त है ना, तो उनकी भगवान की योजना के अंतर्गत उनको मोह में डाला गया। Right? Until and unless Arjuna becomes overwhelmed or comes under illusion, how could Krishna use him to pass on his message, to share his message, to help us, enlighten us? अगर अर्जुन ही मोह में नहीं पड़े, तो भगवान कैसे फिर उनको माध्यम बनाए, निमित्त बनाए, और उनके माध्यम से अपना संदेश हम तक पहुंचाए, है ना? कैसे हो फिर? So just behold is amazing. Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. There Arjuna could see that within the midst of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers and all. Now look, Arjuna is wanting to see whom? Predominantly those personalities who have come to please the evil-minded sons of Dhritarashtra. So predominantly Duryodhana and party and others. Certainly he isn't anticipating or saying Krishna, okay, show me where my grandfather and where my military teacher are. Surely they are also there in that assembly on the other side, so they cannot go unnoticed. They will be seen, but Arjuna's main focus is in seeing who those evil-minded sons of Dhritarashtra who have come to please those evil-minded. So those evil personalities who have come to please the evil-minded sons of Dhritarashtra. But here he's now, by Krishna's arrangement, Arjuna is focusing or seeing more whom? Bhishma Pitama, his grandfather, and Dronacharya. Predominantly these two personalities. अगर वास्तव में भागवत गीता का बताइए, ये प्रसंग आगे भी नहीं बढ़ता अगर द्रोणाचार्य जी और भीष्म पितामह नहीं होते उस युद्ध में दुर्योधन के पक्ष से, है ना? कई बार प्रश्न उठ भी जाए ना कि भाई भीष्म पितामह जी, द्रोणाचार्य जी क्यों दुर्योधन के पक्ष से युद्ध कर रहे हैं? तो भाई ये भगवान की अंतर्गत योजना के अंतर है, अंतरंग योजना के अंदर। If Dronacharya ji and Bhishma Pitama, the grandfather and military teacher, were not there in front of Arjuna, would Arjuna get overwhelmed? What would there be to get him overwhelmed then? So when Arjuna saw all these different personalities, friends and relatives, he become overwhelmed with compassion. So his becoming overwhelmed is Krishna's plan to get him overwhelmed. But for us, we naturally become overwhelmed over temporary material sense gratification. Now see, coming back to 21-22, Arjuna says, I want to see between the two armies. This between is amazing thing, between. Senayor Ubhayor Madhye. Madhye na, between. Senayor Ubhayor Madhye, between the two parties. In our lives as well, all our problems lie in between only. In between. Like, say, relationship for that matter. Oh, I entered into a relationship and then I say, where did I enter into this relationship? What had I thought and now where have I put my head in? I enter into a job and then I say, oh, किस job में फंस गया, कहाँ मैंने नौकरी ले ली, ना? इत्यादि। तो सारी फसावट हमारी बीच की है। कहाँ we ourselves want to rush ourselves into something and then many a times it comes out, where have I stuck myself in? है ना? हम खुद ही कई बार चाहते हैं यहाँ फंसे, वहां फंसे, यहाँ घुसे, ये बढ़िया है, वो बढ़िया है, और फिर बाद में अरे कहाँ बीच में आके फंस गया मैं, ये कहाँ फंस गया। एंड बिकॉज Why? Because we do not live in the present moment. Arjuna now in here or further some shlokas will see what? He will be tormented heavily by past and future. Past and future. पास्ट में क्या? ये हुआ मेरे साथ, वो हुआ मेरे भाइयों के साथ, ये हुआ माता जी के साथ, ये हुआ पत्नी के साथ, ये हुआ इत्यादि। है तो वो पास्ट हॉन्ट करता है ना, भूत के रूप से वो पास्ट खलता है पूरा का पूरा। और फ्यूचर में आगे क्या होगा, अब क्या होगा, अब क्या होगा। और इस पास्ट और फ्यूचर के बीच में बिटवीन, what lies between past and future is the present only, and the present gets very shaken up. This is why Arjuna's present moment is getting now heavily shaken up, or we'll see it gets even more heavily shaken up, because mind is reeling in past and future. And why? Because we are in illusion. No? We are living in dire illusion, in forgetfulness of Krishna. The illusory energy of Krishna, Maya, it has got only two occupations, two functions. To cover up our original consciousness with ignorance. Our original consciousness is to love and serve Krishna unconditionally. तो उसको ढक देती है माया, जो हमारा वास्तविक स्वरूप है, हमारी वास्तविक पहचान है, आत्मा के स्वरूप, आत्मा का पहचान, तो हमारा दिव्य स्वरूप, दिव्य पहचान है, उसको माया ढक देती है। और क्यों ढकती है? क्योंकि हम खुद ढकाना चाहते हैं बाबा, हम खुद। और दूसरा काम क्या करती है माया? भगवान से हमारे भुला देती है। भगवान को हम भूल जाते हैं ना, भगवान का हमारा स्मरण छूट जाता है। फॉरगेटफुलनेस ऑफ कृष्णा, फॉरगेटफुलनेस ऑफ आवर आइडेंटिटी, फॉरगेटफुलनेस ऑफ कृष्णा, हु वी आर, व्हाट इज आवर रिलेशनशिप विद कृष्णा एंड एवरीथिंग। So Maya does these two jobs. And why? Because this is also a mercy of Krishna, a blessing of Krishna. अगर भगवान हमको माया जाल में नहीं रखे और नहीं फंसाए और हम नहीं फंसे, तो भाई हम जी भी नहीं पाएंगे, हम पागल हो जाएंगे, पागल हो जाएंगे। Believe some saintly person had said this thing, that what we human beings, we want to enjoy the kingdom of God, but without God. सेम दुर्योधन ना, माया ही चाहिए थे ना उसको, नारायणी सेना। क्या? इस सेना को लेके मैं युद्ध करूंगा और विजय पाऊंगा और मौज करूंगा, मजे करूंगा, खाऊंगा पीऊंगा ना, जीतूंगा पूरा। So everyone as such in one's condition state, until and unless one has become a sadhaka, until and unless one is adopting, practicing, taking on a spiritual practice, then what? We all desire to have the kingdom of God, but without God. How is it possible? How is it possible? No. And this is why ठोकर खाते हैं from time to time. This is why we burn ourselves from time to time. So this between is amazing. All our problem lies in between only, in between. Because we do not think much before we go into something. And then we worry about. Bhagavad Gita teaches us, or will teach us what? It will teach us to think first and then act. Arjuna is maintaining so much of sobriety, we'll see. Even though he's been covered, still he's maintaining so much of sobriety. भागवत गीता क्या सिखाती है, समझाएगी हमें कि भैया पहले सोचो, समझो, चिंतन करो, मनन करो, थोड़ा पहलू को समझो, और फिर जाके तुम क्रियान्वित करो, एक्ट करो. But what the world lies in, we ourselves carry what energy, what is our, where do we, how do we act? We act first and then think, generally speaking. Act first. बोल दो जो बोलना, भाई बाद में देखा जाएगा. Let me just burst out, let me just speak. Let me just relieve the pressure from me, and then we'll see whatever happens. Let me just act, and then we'll see whatever needs sorting out. But no, life doesn't work like that actually. That's not a healthy life. So भागवत गीता हमें ये सिखाएगी, समझाएगी, ये शक्ति देगी हमें कि कैसे हम पहले सही सोचें और फिर हम अमल करें, उस पे एक्ट करें। सोच, हमारा चिंतन, मनोभाव, उसको भागवत गीता एकदम सही करेगा। भगवान के दिव्य वचन वाणी उसको सही करेगी। और जहाँ मनोभाव चिंतन ठीक होगा, वहां हमारी क्रियाएं अपने आप शुद्ध होगी, दिव्यता की ओर जाएगी। कृष्णा विल प्रोटेक्ट आवर थॉट प्रोसेस, आवर मेंटल फैकल्टी, है ना। And once mental faculty is protected, he will act in a very sublime way, in a very divine way. So this is what Arjuna is now crying, saying, "Why did I come in between this war? Why am I here?" Huh? This thing. And Arjuna didn't actually specifically wanted to see grandfather or uncle or cousins and all, relatives and all. He was predominantly wanting to see Duryodhana and brothers and all, huh? Those who were full of envy. But Krishna, behold, behold, such is the magic of Krishna. Everything, this is, इसको गांठ बांध के हम समझ लें जितना जल्दी, बहुत बढ़िया होगा। Everything Krishna has done or is doing in our lives is actually to purify us. हमें शुद्ध बनाने के लिए भगवान, और सज्जन बनाने के लिए भगवान, जो कुछ हमारे जीवन में आया या आ रहा है उसी के लिए। Everything Krishna is doing in our life is in a way to bring us closer to him. We just need to develop that vision, है ना। प्रेमंजना छुरित भक्ति विलोचनेन, तो हमारे अंजन में वो प्रेम भाव आए, है ना। ज्ञानंजना शलाकाय, हमारे ज्ञान के अंजन में भी वो भाव आए। और वो कैसे आएगा? जब साधु संग करेंगे, भक्तों का संग करेंगे। भक्तों की कृपा से ही हम भगवत भजन हमारा पुष्ट हो, या भगवत ज्ञान, भगवत विद्या को हम समझ पाएंगे। So whatever Krishna is doing actually in our lives is in a way to bring us closer to him. And under compassion now, huh, overwhelmed with compassion, we are living in overwhelm. Either we are so hard hearted, or either we are so like emotionally cold or hard hearted, huh? Or either we go so sentimental or overwhelmed. So overwhelmed with compassion, Arjuna is now saying. Okay, I ask a question. If you think about it, if you like to give the answer now, then yeah, please. Otherwise, if you need some time as well and think and let me know. Who who is supposed to read Bhagavad Gita? Who is a recipient of the message of Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita किसको पढ़नी चाहिए? किसके लिए है?
Everyone.
Nice, everyone. And any reason why everyone should read Bhagavad Gita? क्यों सभी क्यों पढ़े भाई?
क्योंकि जिसने सबको बनाया उन्होंने तो बोल दिए, तो सबको पढ़नी चाहिए।
नाइस, अच्छा, श्रद्धा आपकी, ना, श्रद्धा बहुत बढ़िया आपकी। वेरी गुड फेथ, है ना, कि भाई सृष्टि रचना हुई है, किसने करी? ठाकुर जी ने करी, भगवान ने करी, है ना। जो भी क्रिया उस हिसाब से इत्यादि और सब कुछ, क्योंकि हम भगवान के हैं तो हमें तो भगवान के दिव्य वचन सुनने पड़ने चाहिए। ओके, take this question with you for now and we'll try to discuss it in our today's session further on, huh? So I think we read 28, 29 and 30 as well, huh? So again we read 28 translation purport. Now Pratik, पढ़ पाओगे क्या आप?
Yes. Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and
Okay, so read
relatives."
translation 28.
28 na?
हाँ, 28 पढ़िए, फिर 29 भी आप ही को पढ़ना है।
Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and skin is burning."
तात्पर्य भी पढ़िए. Or Pratik and everyone, in our readings, while reading purport, any read it thrice. Any sentence which strikes you, which connects with you, which you find slightly fascinating, read it twice or thrice. And everyone, we try to read in such a way that all the participants can actually connect with it. ठीक है, बढ़िया.
There are two kinds of trembling of the body and two kinds of standings of the hair on end. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear under material conditions. There is no fear in transcendental realization. Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life. This is evident from other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow, Gandiva, was slipping from his hands, and because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling a burning sensation of the skin. All these are due to material conception of life.
आखिरी सेंटेंस फिर से पढ़िए.
All
ये
these
all
are all these are due to material conception of life.
दो बार फिर से पढ़िए.
All these are due to a material conception of life. All these are due to material conception of life.
अनुवाद पढ़िए.
My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning.
So read text 30 as well, translation and purport.
I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only cause of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of Kesi demon. Due to his impatience, Arjuna was unable to stay on the battlefield and he was forgetting himself on account of his weakness of his mind. Excessive attachment for material things puts a man in such a bewildering condition of existence. Bhayam divya abhinavastha said. Such fearfulness and loss of mental equilibrium take place in persons who are too affected by material conditions. Arjuna envisioned only painful reverses in the battlefield. He would not be happy even by gaining victory over the foe. The words Nimitatanya Vipartani are significant. When a man sees only frustration in his expectations, he thinks, why am I here? Everyone is interested in himself and his own welfare. No one is interested in the Supreme Self. Arjuna is showing ignorance of his real self interest by Krishna's will. One's real self interest lies in Vishnu or Krishna. The conditioned soul forgets this and therefore suffers material pains. Arjuna thought that his victory in the battle would only be a cause of lamentation for him.
Again, Pratik, read when a man sees only frustration. हाँ, वहाँ से पढ़ो और फिर अनुवाद भी पढ़ना.
When a man sees only frustration in his expectations, he thinks, why am I here? Everyone is interested in himself and his own welfare. No one is interested in the Supreme Self. Arjuna is showing ignorance of his real self interest by Krishna's will. One's real self interest lies in Vishnu or Krishna. The conditioned soul forgets this and therefore suffers material pains. Arjuna thought that his victory in the battle would only be a cause of lamentation for him.
Can you read the translation again, please?
I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only cause of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the Kesi demon.
Just waiting for Ashish to come back from the toilet.
Okay. Tell me.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, like, see, चलिए ठीक है, इस प्रश्न का उत्तर आप लोग भी सोचिएगा. But should I answer who should be reading Bhagavad Gita? Who is supposed to read Bhagavad Gita? Yes, Alan.
Well, it's like, I agree with it. It's everyone, but at the same time, the reader is sort of puts themselves in the position of Arjuna, but Arjuna is a pure devotee, so it's like it's written for a pure devotee. That makes sense, even though it's accessible to everyone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's accessible for everyone, and it is written or it is spoken, or this arrangement is only to help us become a pure devotee. No, this is to help us be gradually, first of all, come under some sadhana, some spiritual discipline, hmm, and then understand, like, falling down. Na? Sadhaka means who is falling but doing endeavor. Falling again but still making endeavors. Falling again but making endeavors. And pure devotee is one who doesn't fall none. Who doesn't need to make endeavor. Why? Because it is his natural consciousness now. His spontaneous natural consciousness to love and serve Krishna. And sadhaka, one who is falling and again trying. So Bhagavad Gita, yeah, for us to come to a sadhaka stage, and then we all aspire. Sadhaka is one who aspires to become a pure devotee. साधक वही है जो एक शुद्ध भक्त बनना चाहता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम बस साधक बने ही बैठे रहे, है ना, कि हाँ बहुत कर लिया, बहुत आ गए भाई, हो गया ना, धोती कुर्ता पहनने लगे, तिलक लगाने लग गए, कंठी माला डाल दी, और क्या चाहिए. हाँ, इससे पहले तो इतना भी नहीं करते थे हम. काफी हो गया भाई. 10-50 श्लोका भी आ गए हमें. और क्या, सारे कीर्तन इत्यादि सब कुछ आ गया. बहुत है. अब अगला जन्म देखेंगे ना. साधका का भाव तो वास्तव में महाप्रभु की कृपा को आकृष्ट करने के लिए होना चाहिए, शुद्ध भक्त बनने के लिए. And yes, Arjuna is a pure devotee. He doesn't need to know the message of Bhagavad Gita. He doesn't need to know, and we all desperately need to know. Evie, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I believe that the intended audience is those who wish to extend their spiritual knowledge in some sort of way, like connect with God more.
Yeah, certainly, definitely. Evie and Ellen both in the same lines. Yes. I mean, who goes into a school, college, uni, who wants to take education and then he goes, and whenever we are little bit spiritually inclined, then we fall into Bhagavad Gita and we try to understand it furthermore. So uh, maybe I asked this question a bit early, and now I feel okay. Let me share my say what I understood from devotees, what I heard from devotees. Now text 29, 30, 31. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow, Gandiv, is slipping from my hand. His arrow, his bow, Gandiv, है ना? धनुष, हाथ से छूट रहा है, and my skin is burning. Now, why the Gandiv is slipping? Not because that all of a sudden the bow has become very heavy, and not just because that all of a sudden Arjuna is lost all weight or he's having like mm, uh, he's going to have runs or like he's having some stomach problem. His stomach has become upset. No, why is it sleeping? Because of mental, so much of heaviness mental heaviness. My skin is burning. So this is what Arjuna is saying. Then I'm now unable to stand here any longer. I'm forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory or kingdom. Actually, sorry, 28, 29, 30, 28. Seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Tell me any one person, if you could think, uh, who would not have gone through these emotions, these experiences of what Arjuna is saying in text 28, 29, and 30. If you think everyone, every one of us, be the son of a king, hmm, be the son of a Supreme Court judge, be the son of the best businessman and all, whosoever. If you think any person, or yeah, let's put it this way, any person who has gone through these emotions, who's going through or gone through these emotions in life, should read Bhagavad Gita. And if there is anyone who can honestly, genuinely claim and say, well, I've never been through this in my life, huh? That I never feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up, my body never trembles, my hand never stands off end because of some mental agitation. uh, I never come into a situation where I forget myself or my mind reels. Then, yeah, that person perhaps can say. Can anyone actually claim? Any thoughts, Evie, Alan, Diksha, Harsha, Pratik, Abhishek, Anuradha, Preeti?
It's very human thing to happen. I'd say no one can say that doesn't happen to them.
It is a human thing to, yeah, very human thing to happen. And this is why scriptures are for whom? For humans only. To, again, we live in what? Man animal consciousness. In a human cloth, in a human body, but having many animalistic tendencies, living like animalistic desires, thoughts, and lifestyle, generally speaking, again. And then man consciousness. ना? एक हुआ मनुष्य शरीर में पशुवत जीवन है, मनुष्य शरीर लेकिन जीवन पशुवत. दूसरा क्या, मनुष्य शरीर में मनुष्य की तरह जीता जो, है ना, इंसान के शरीर में इंसान की तरह जीता है, इंसान शरीर में. अनदर, इंसान के शरीर में देवी देवता जैसे जीता है, उस चेतना ना, उस भाव से देवी देवता जैसा जीता है. उससे ऊंचा क्या, इंसान के शरीर में एक साधक जैसे जीता है। साधक साधक एक स्पिरिचुअल प्रैक्टिशनर की चेतना के अनुसार। उससे ऊंचा मनुष्य शरीर में शुद्ध भक्त, उस भाव से। हाँ, so one is man animal, encaged and covered in this human body, but living more or less like an animalistic lifestyle. Another man consciousness से, है ना, living like a human being and living like a human being से, at least somewhat better off. Then man and living like what? Godly, heavenly, angelic consciousness, carrying angelic heavenly consciousness in a human body. Then in a human body and aspiring, building the consciousness of a sadhaka, how the consciousness, vision, the efforts, the aim, aspiration, how a sadhaka molds his life like that. Then in a human form of life, but a pure devotee. Externally speaking, okay, this is a human body of earth, water, fire, air, ether, all these things, na? Material elements, mind, and all. But through consciousness, one is purely purified. So yeah, human emotions. This is why scriptures are for human only, and everyone human goes through these emotions. Arjuna went through these emotions heavily, heavily. And what is the thing? Again, Bhagavad Gita would have been a big failure had Arjuna not fought. Had Arjuna not fought. Had Arjuna not said to Krishna, Karisye vachanam tava. Out of love, Krishna, I will do now whatever you desire, whatever pleases you. Not just fighting, anything. Na? Arjuna asked Krishna in the beginning that what is ultimate good for me? Tell me that. What is ultimate shreyas for me? And then Arjuna responds, I will do whatever you desire. So Arjuna is not going to ask Krishna or asking that help me through this war only. No, ultimately throughout the life. Just after this Bhagavad Gita, will there not be troubles and all? Yes, there will be throughout. And that is what Arjuna is responding as well towards the end. Parisya vachanam tava, I will do whatever you desire. So anyone, all of us humans beings, na, and we are going through this emotion, and this is why life is meant to understand who we are, what is our identity. And one can see the transition, the transformation Arjuna goes. Here he is saying these things, and when it comes to 18th chapter, what is his enlightenment? What is his enlightened state? And how does one act in that enlightened state? And problem is how many people we know who are living their life throughout in this text 28, 29, 30. Life begins with this text 28, 29, 30 and ends also pretty much there for many, for many. Again, I may sound harsh or something, but that's a ground reality. Yeah. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow. So the bow is slipping again, not because of some physical disability, because Arjuna is in the illusion. In illusion, a person thinks himself that I am the doer, I am the controller. What will happen? So Arjuna is tormented now by such thoughts. Future, what will happen in the future? What will happen in the future? Yeah. Future brings what? Anxiety or hankering. We hanker for this, we hanker for that. Or yeah, there is anxiety. Oh, what will happen? What will happen? And past lamentation, lamentation. Oh, I shouldn't have said this to my mom. I shouldn't have said this to my boss. Lamentation, regret. पास्ट में जीते रहते हैं दुख विलाप करते हुए और ओ हाउ हैप्पी वाज आई डे दैट डे उसी में ही वो दिन कितना बढ़िया था यार 3 हफ्ते पहले पार्टी करी थी ये करा था सो दैट वेज Arjuna here, his mind is reeling and forgetting myself. That's the real problem. The Jiva, when he forgets Krishna, then all this one's identity and why scruples is forgotten. Thank you, Evie. Thank you. Uh, so just go through a bit of the purport. Due to his impatience, Arjuna was unable to stay on the battlefield. Restlessness, na? On account of this weakness of his mind. So now Arjuna is representing us. See, many times we see some sports person, someone interviewing a sports personality, and he asks many a questions to that sports person. So those questions are asked to that sports person. The one who is interviewing, he need not necessarily wants to play that sport and have all those things and all. Huh? But he's just asking those questions on behalf of the audience, so that in the audience, in the society, there could be a young boy or a young girl who can take that inspiration, encouragement, huh, and take into that sport and be more active, more healthy, and more open up his brain. So Arjuna now here he's saying all this not for himself. No, he's representing us, and this is what happens to us on account of this weakness of mind. Now, see, this excessive attachment for material things puts a man in such a bewildering condition of his existence. Shastras, scriptures know us cover to cover very nicely. Na? Krishna knows us very nicely. So, it is his kripa, he gave us scriptures. So, scriptures never say that do not be as such attached. Okay, little bit attachment is understandable, na? Little bit attachment is understandable, and this is why we have to train and practice anyways to maintain that little bit attachment, not get dragged away and all. But excessive attachment is never encouraged. Excessive attachment, and excessive attachment for what? For material things. Excessive attachment for material things, and this is why we always find ourselves in a bewildering situation from time to time. From time to time, reverses and all. From time to time. Uh, Anyone, if he sees that, okay, um, when a man sees only frustration in his expectations, he thinks, why am I here? So, any time if it comes to us, why am I here? Why do I even exist? है ना? These questions are very powerful questions. Where have I stuck myself? What do I do? How do I come out of these situations? These are very powerful questions and all. And look, this is the mercy of Krishna. Arjuna only said that put the chariot in between the two armies I want to see. And Krishna knows where the problem lies. Arjuna wanted to see whom? Duryodhan say. Na? Mainly Duryodhan and party. He didn't desire to see Bhishma Pitama or Dronacharya ji. And Krishna made him see where? Bhishma Pitama Dronacharya ji. Where his real problem lies. Likewise, we also stuck ourselves in problem, but we do not know the real cause of our problem, where our real problem is. And by the association of devotees, when we come in the fold and shelter of devotees, तभी हम समझ पाएंगे कि हमारी वास्तविक समस्या कहाँ पे है. जब हम साधु संग करें, भक्तों का संग करें, तब हम जान पाएंगे कि हमारी वास्तविक समस्या कहाँ पे है, भगवान बताएंगे. और वो उसको किस लिए दिखाएंगे भगवान? ताकि उस समस्या का समाधान हो. थोड़ी ना समस्या को खेलने के लिए, उसका समाधान पूर्ण रूप से समाधान कराने के लिए. सो हियर कृष्णा इज blessing Arjuna to understand where his real problem lies, and then Krishna will provide a complete solution so that once for all Arjuna can come out of his real problem. Uh, so many of us come to this state, why am I here, why do I exist, बढ़िया होता, इससे बढ़िया ये दिन ही नहीं देखा होता, इत्यादि, so many such things on those lines. I'm forgetting myself and all. But the only problem is we do not take shelter of Bhagavad Gita then. We do not take shelter of the holy names of Krishna. We do not take shelter of devotees. We do not take shelter of acharyas, Vaishnavas. But if we take shelter of devotees, acharyas, Vaishnavas, take shelter of the holy names, uh, engage ourselves in devotional service, calling out to Krishna, then we will understand what the real problem is, what is the real solution. How beautiful this purport. Everyone is interested in himself and his own welfare. So true, but हम समझे तो सही हमारा वास्तविक हित कहाँ पे है. हमारा वास्तविक हित, where lies our highest self interest. Now Arjuna is showing ignorance of his real self interest by Krishna's will. तो अर्जुन के लिए तो भगवान उनको चाहते थे कि वो मोहित हो, और हम खुद ही चाहते हैं कि भाई हम मोहित हुए रहें. ये तो तभी ना भक्तगण आते हैं तो वो उठाते हैं, हमें जगाते हैं कि उठ मनुष्य जाग. हाँ क्या, उठ जाग मुसाफिर भोर भयो. हाँ? आगे की लाइन पता है क्या? उठ जाग मुसाफिर भोर भयो, समथिंग ना, अब स्मरण में नहीं आ रही है. जो जागत है सो पावत है, जो सोवत है सो खोवत है ना. अब ये जागना मतलब क्या है? इन चमड़े की आंखों से थोड़ी ना जगना हुआ कोई. चमड़ी की आंखें खुली रखी रही, यही थोड़ी ना जगना हुआ. जागत है सो पावत है ना. जगना मतलब वन हु इज अवेक to his spiritual realization, understanding identity. Only then one can call out the mercy of Krishna. पाना क्या? भगवान की कृपा को ही पाना है, उसी को आकृष्ट करना है ना. और जो सोए हुए हैं, भले ही आंखें जगी हुई है लेकिन सोए हुए हैं, तो भाई खो ही रहे ना. इतना दुर्लभ मानस जन्म सत्संग है, इतना मूल्यवान है ये मनुष्य शरीर, लेकिन इसको भगवान की सेवा में ना लगाएं तो खोया ही जा रहा है ना. खोया ही जा रहा है ये अवसर. Okay, any question or comment, or anyone would like to add or say anything? मनुष्य मात्र को पढ़ना चाहिए भागवत गीता, और विशेष करके जिसका भारत की पवित्र भूमि में जन्म हुआ है, वैदिक सभ्यता में, वैदिक कल्चर में, उसको तो अवश्य ही कवर टू कवर पढ़ना ही चाहिए भागवत गीता ना. Any human being, every human being, at least in one's life, when one is more physically, mentally, every way more able, should read Bhagavad Gita cover to cover and relish. Okay, so Abhishek, read 31.
Yes, sir. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness.
तो अर्जुना 5 कारण देंगे. अर्जुना will share 5 reasons why he doesn't want to fight, why he doesn't want to engage. Look, we come up with so many reasons. Rather, for us, it is more than reasons, excuses to not practice devotional service. More than reasons, it excuses. Why? Because of weakness of heart, weakness in the mind, है ना. और वो वीकनेस क्यों रहेगा? क्योंकि साधु संग नहीं मिला या नहीं किया अभी तक, या साधु संग को हमने अपनाया नहीं है जीवन में, तो वीकनेस बना ही रहेगा. Arjuna is going to quote now 5 reasons why he doesn't want to fight the war, why he doesn't want to engage himself in the war. Such as us, whenever we are like, okay, Prabhu, do this, Prabhu, do that, chant, do japa and all, we all come up with reasons and all. Our reasons are still even more stupid, more nonsensical. Arjuna's reasons, even though he been covered, put under illusion, even though, still amazing reasons he will give as such why he doesn't want to fight. Amazing as in the sense, everything in the mode of goodness. So this is an undercover operation of Krishna, to put Arjuna under illusion for our bhalai, our betterment. So the first reason Arjuna gives is this text 28, 29, 30. Some of you please say what this reason could be. What is Arjuna saying here? Why he doesn't want to fight? From text 27 till 30. पहला कारण क्या है? अर्जुना भगवान को क्या बोल रहे हैं? वो क्यों युद्ध नहीं करना चाहते, नहीं करेंगे? Some of you have read Bhagavad Gita before, you would know.
Maybe he didn't want to kill their relatives, their elders, their friends, brothers, his family.
हाँ, यस यस, इसको थोड़ा सा अब बात तो सही कह रहे हो आप, इसको थोड़ा सा संक्षेप में कैसे बताएं, क्या कारण से?
संक्षेप में जैसे काफी दुविधा में है कि उनके साथ एक तो ठीक भी नहीं हुआ, नाइंसाफी हुई एक तरह से, और ऊपर से किसी का बदला उन्हें उन्हीं के रिलेटिव से लेना पड़ रहा है, तो वो उनको भी नहीं मार सकते, तो वो
बराबर, बहुत
काफी उलझी
बढ़िया।
हुई स्थिति।
हाँ, अब यही बद अवस्था में ना, बद अवस्था में व्यक्ति को लगता है मेरे साथ नाइंसाफी हुई है। वास्तव में जीव के साथ कुछ नाइंसाफी नहीं हुई है और कोई कर भी नहीं रहा। वो खुद ही स्वयं से अपने आप को वंचित कर रहा है। सबसे बड़ी नाइंसाफी तो क्या है ना, यही भगवान का आश्रय हम नहीं ले रहे। उससे बड़ी विडंबना क्या जीव के लिए? अपने आप को ही नहीं पहचान रहा है जीव, अपना स्वरूप क्या है, वही तो सबसे बड़ी नाइंसाफी है। और कौन कर रहा है? प्रीडोमिनेटली आई, है ना। आई हैव टू, कृष्णा विल हेल्प अस अंडरस्टैंड and help us more strong by taking more responsibility or owning that responsibility and acknowledging. But yes, Arjuna is under illusion, so he is now considering all the disturbances himself and his family had to go through, and now who are there in front of him, same family members. None of us actually carry or have such a precarious situation as Arjuna. इतनी दयनीय स्थिति हम में से किसी की नहीं है, किसी की नहीं है जैसी अर्जुन की है। संसार में कोई ऐसा नहीं मिलेगा जिसकी ऐसी दयनीय स्थिति है। None of us. We all share, we all have our fair quota of, है ना, सुख and dukh, happiness and distress. We all have carry our good fair quota of happiness and distress. But none of us are in a position as like precarious as Arjuna. Who amongst us has to wake up next day morning and go and fight a war and kill someone, and someone of our own? And who amongst, like, having a very noble, moral, ethical, principle oriented character and having to kill his own teacher, own grandfather, very noble characters, personalities, है ना? तो in some form, see, it is like having to go into a court case, court battle, legal battle over some dispute, some feud, property related, say, and fighting that battle against whom? Our own family members, own blood kith and kin, own blood relatives, own family members, and in court trying to pull them down, and bring out how bad they are, sort of thing. Now, for any moral person, it will be so hard to do, so hard. ये तो फिर भी छोटा उदाहरण है कि कोर्ट कचहरी के केस में घर परिवार वालों को घसीट के लेके आना और किसी जायदाद रिलेटेड, है ना, जमीन रिलेटेड केस में, और फिर घर की बदनामी कराना। और इसमें क्या जाएगा भाई, जमीन गया, रुपया गया, थोड़ा बहुत ये किसी का स्वास्थ्य खराब होगा इत्यादि। यहाँ अर्जुन देखो ना, विश्व युद्ध की उस हिसाब से कि पूरा वंशज ही नष्ट हो। So the first reason Arjuna quotes in these 27 to 30 is material compassion. दया ना, compassion, अनुकंपा, लेकिन भौतिक स्तर पे, material compassion. He became overwhelmed with compassion. And this is all out of material compassion. He's saying all this. And these reasons he is giving Krishna that I cannot fight. है ना, कृष्णा किलर ऑफ द केशी डीमन। तो भगवान अर्जुन समझ भी पा रहे हैं कि मैं कहीं ना कहीं गलत भी जा रहा हूँ। तो भगवान जिस तरह से अब यहाँ पे केसी कह के संबोधित कर रहे हैं ना कृष्ण को, क्या कि भगवान जिस तरह से आपने दानव केसी दानव का असुर का वध किया था, तो वैसे ही जो दानव जो असुर मेरे सर सवार हो गया है ना, मेरे सर पे चढ़ गया है, जो मेरे को नचा रहा है, मेरी असुरी बुद्धि, उसको भी आप समाधान करिए, उसका निवारण करिए, उसका खात्मा करिए, आप उसको मारिए, पूरा मूल रूप से जड़ से हटाइए। So Arjuna is praying to Krishna to remove the ignorance from the root cause which has come over upon him. So material compassion first, and then next he will give further reasons. So let's read further translations only. In the meantime, again, any question or comment or any clarifications or any additions?
No.
Okay, so let's read 32 to 35. हर्षा पढ़िए 32 से 35 ये translation.
O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudan, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers in law, grandsons, brothers in law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra?
So this is the second reason Arjuna is quoting why he doesn't want to fight. So Pratik, Abhishek, Ellen, any thoughts? Harsha has read before actually, Diksha, Anuradha. What sort of reason Arjuna is trying to quote for not going into war, for not fighting the war?
As if उसको इस वॉर से कुछ हासिल नहीं होगा क्यों, क्योंकि अगर वो फाइट करेगा तो डेथ उसके रिलेटिव्स की होगी, और अगर वो जीतेगा भी तो उस मोल पे उसको वो स्वीकार नहीं होगा, तो लॉस उसका ही है ऑन बोथ द साइड्स.
Okay, I think we may not have read 31 perhaps, or might actually read it, but yeah, previously. As in, Ellen, read 31, then just translation, please.
I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness.
Thank you. So, thank you, Abhishek. Ellen, Abhishek, and Pratik, any further thoughts or any thoughts? What could be the second reason why Arjuna is not willing to fight?
It's because even to win or to gain ownership of the kingdom or even for happiness, like it's not worth it to kill his own family.
All the arguments Arjuna is giving, these are all very good arguments because of his kind, soft-hearted nature. Only a kind, compassionate, only, see, okay, this one thing. संसार में आसक्ति, अटैचमेंट, आसक्ति अटैचमेंट को बहुत श्रेय दिया जाता है ना, कि भाई आसक्ति, लोग कहते हैं ना कि भाई खास करके भक्ति में मत जाओ भाई, ये तुम्हें सब कुछ छुटा देंगे, सब कुछ छुटा देंगे, हाँ, बाबा बना देंगे, साधु बाबा बना देंगे इत्यादि। और भाई घर परिवार में देखो हम बंधे हुए हैं इत्यादि, ऐसे करके आसक्त, अटैचमेंट। सो सोसाइटी एट a जनरल लेवल promotes attachment actually, and anyone who takes into a spiritual life, Krishna conscious life, generally it is observed worldwide, not just India or worldwide, what, that the family members and all, oh gosh, he's taking he started chanting Hare Krishna, he's met Hare Krishnas and all, one day he will become Hare Krishna and he will leave us, he'll forget us altogether, and he will become so hard hearted. Look, you devotees, you do not have any emotions and all. Many people say people are so cold, no emotions and all. And look at us, we are connected, our bond and all. But look here, Arjuna ko dekhiye, how detached he is. Detachment is a big asset, it's a big weapon. How detached he is. And on the other side, how attached Duryodhan and how attached Dhritarashtra is. So heavily attached, he doesn't want to give anything. And Arjuna is so detached, he's easily saying, take away, take away, take away. No? So generally, spiritual practitioners are kind of cursed. Devotees are, bhaktas are cursed. Oh, why is my son or daughter taken into Krishna consciousness and spiritual life, huh? Becoming a Hare Krishna, and now he or she has no feelings for us, family, this and that and all. But look, Dhritarashtra is so attached to materialistic family life. Again, family life is not condemned, but it is materialistic, tainted family life is what is condemned. So the reason Arjuna is quoting is, first reason he gives is sense, this compassion, out of material compassion, towards teachers, superiors, grandfathers, and all. That bodily oriented, bodily affection, bodily concept of life, living in this bodily concept of life, bodily familial attachment, compassion. And now we conditions living entities, we are we are carrying a big bug, the big bug of what? Sense gratification, big bug of no sense enjoyment. So Arjuna is saying, by uh, um, where will be happiness, huh? O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all this human desire, um, them are now arrayed on this battlefield. Hmm? If they all are gone, whom will we enjoy with? है ना? जब घर वाले ही सब चले जाएंगे तो हम किसके साथ सुख मनाएंगे, किसके साथ भोगेंगे, आनंद लेंगे? हाँ? और किसको हम दिखाएंगे भी कि भैया हमारा इतना बड़ा साम्राज्य है? Whom will we show we have such a big empire when everyone is gone? All our friends and competitors are gone. Our friends and competitors passed away. Whom will we show we have such a huge empire? And who will we enjoy with? So, Arjuna's second thing is, what pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? But again, see, he's kind of tormented by morality, different emotions, morality, forgetfulness, self-centeredness, bodily affection. Everywhere he's being pulled out. He's being pulled out. And he's struggling to develop this courage to tell Krishna what? That I will not fight Krishna. He's not directly saying in any translation here, Krishna, I am not going to fight. He has just sat down. huh? He's not able to stand here any longer and all. And he's quoting these arguments, but he doesn't have the courage. इतनी दुविधा में अर्जुन भगवान को भी ना नहीं कर पा रहा है, क्योंकि जानते हैं कृष्ण चाहते हैं कि भाई युद्ध हो। जीवात्मा समझ पाता है ना कि क्या सही है क्या गलत है, थोड़ा परमात्मा स्वरूप से भगवान बैठे हैं हमारे हृदय में विराजमान, तो वो संकेत मात्र देते हैं और संकेत मात्र जीवात्मा समझ भी पाता है। तो अर्जुन ऐसी दैन्य स्थिति, ऐसी विपद स्थिति में है, भगवान को ना तो वो स्पष्ट रूप से मना कर पा रहा है कि मैं युद्ध नहीं करूंगा, और ना ही वो युद्ध के लिए भी तैयार हो पा रहा है। ऐसा ही हाल हमारा होता है ना, कई बार देखो, अभी जॉब के लिए हाँ करे तो फंसे, जॉब के लिए ना करें तो फंसे, है ना। सगाई के लिए हाँ करो तो फंसे, ना करो तो फंसे। वैसी अर्जुन की स्थिति है, इधर जाए तो कुआ, उधर देखे तो खाई। भाई कृष्ण को भी मना नहीं कर सकते, और दूसरी ओर घर वाले सज्जन सबको, किनको मैं संभालूं, किनको प्लीज करूं, किनको नहीं करूं। और ये बद अवस्था में, बिकॉज इज फॉरगेटफुलनेस ऑफ कृष्णा, फॉरगेटफुलनेस ऑफ हिज रियल आइडेंटिटी, एंड द बिग बग वी कैरी इज देन प्लेजर, है ना। व्हाट एंजॉयमेंट, this pride showing how much gold we have, how much jewelry, what is our kingdom, where does it go, all such pride. When everyone is gone and those competitors and friends are passed away, whom will we show? So ये सुख, ये आनंद, ये कीड़ा है बहुत बड़ा हम सभी में। अगेन, सुख और आनंद कोई खराब नहीं है, रादर ये तो जीव का ही निज स्वरूप है उसका, है ना। आनंदमय अभ्यासात, आनंद में कैसे हम अभ्यास करें आनंद का, कैसे हम सदा प्रफुल्लित रहे, आनंदित रहे। बट वी जस्ट डू नॉट नो द रियल प्रोसेस टू बी एवर हैप्पी, टू बी रियली सस्टेनेबली हैप्पी। व्हाट डज रियल हैप्पीनेस मीन? And Arjuna here, being self-centered, is saying, oh, what pleasure will I derive? Will it give me any happiness? So lack of happiness, there won't be any happiness, there won't be any joy in this war, the outcome. So I do not wish to fight, we shall not fight it, because it won't give me any sense gratification, sense pleasure. And many times we are driven by this rewards or motivation only, na? Results oriented. What benefit, what pleasure do we derive? And this is the second reason Arjuna is quoting. Although material, but still very moral. He's holding his morals as well. Okay, any question or comment or suggestion or clarifications or addition? Okay, I think on this note, maybe I will give you peace. Yesterday we crossed the time limit, and for now, maybe let's respect the time limit and we'll give you peace and look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Huh? Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.